You pass by them every day, in your neighborhood, on the side of the highway, constantly bombarding you with information, usually in the form of an ad. However, a local arts organization has found a different use for billboards in the metro region.
We have stayed interested in ways that we could show up for our neighbors, our various communities of St. Louis, and feeling like our gallery's been closed since March, but we have actively looked for ways to support artists specifically, but also to kind of engage the ways in which we still can see art showing up for our region.
The Luminary, in partnership with STLMade, reached out to a handful of local artists in the St. Louis community with a prompt to engage the minds of pedestrians and drivers on their way to and from their daily activities.
Coming out of the moment, we wanted it to feel timely, that it wasn't just, works of art appearing right now, but that there was a sense of all 8 billboards held together in some meaning. So we put a prompt out to the artists to engage questions of futures for our region, communal healing, and ways of connecting right now, even in a moment of isolation.
What I'm really always interested in is the people who are moved by it and how. I've had a few people who saw the billboard before it was posted on social media, and they said they got teary-eyed. In my work, I've talked about things that I didn't think that anybody would be interested in, and people have said oh, I never really thought about it this way, or I've never really considered it. And just because you have never considered it doesn't mean that you don't want to.
I wasn't interested in anything too complex, because a billboard, I think you need to see it and then take it with you, because you're driving by, you're walking by. It's not something you want to have to think about too hard. But I wanted it to be resonant, and that idea that joy is possible. It's not new. It's very simple, but I think it's something that I needed to hear, and so I wanted other people to be able to kind of chew on it too.
The project was fast-tracked with all hands on deck in order to rally the community during the surge of COVID-19 cases in the midst of the presidential election at the beginning of November. Within a matter of weeks, the artist's work was on display.
I've never seen anything that I've designed at that large of a scale, and so you don't really know how it's going to work. There's no way to mock that up. I'm looking at it on a laptop screen and saying, I think this is gonna be compelling. But I can remember when I got the email that it was up, I drove over there frantically, oh my God, what is this gonna look like? And I was a little bit afraid, but then it was a sigh of relief, and it's okay, it does what I intended for it to do.
I do a lot of writing, and I had kind of been thinking about this feeling of invisibility, and I knew if I had a chance to say anything to the general public, it would be something about the ways in which people try to make you feel invisible. And the seeing us with closed eyes to me was kind of refusing to visually represent a certain type of person or group of people, and seeing us with closed minds, refusing to take the time to understand your history or your community's history. And then the third way, seeing us with closed hearts, is to me I don't really have to know the history of people to open my heart.
Through the artist's individual approaches and styles, the Luminary was hoping for the billboards to reach the people of St. Louis on a personal level.
In this moment, I think that my kind of intent be encouraging, because I think that is what we need. I know that's what I need in this kind of moment, that we don't really have an end for it in sight. Everything is very precarious. We're grieving so much. Now, if it wasn't this moment, it might be a little bit different. If we weren't in this moment, I might have done something that was more political, more in your face. But I wanted something almost soft or quiet, but also powerful.
The statement is a statement coming from us, And when I was thinking about us, it was really everybody. I think anybody on this planet has felt invisible in some way or another. You know, whether that is like being some sort of minority or living with a disability or, you know, living in a rural town and feeling like, you know, the country isn't really listening to any of your problems there either. And I don't like the knowing, you know, that some people feel that way and feel invisible. I think that there's enough room, there's enough space and time for like everyone. So yeah, it's kind of like a statement coming from us, because even if you have felt invisible, you might still be making other people feel invisible. So you have to remember, it's kind of a reminder to those people, like, just because you want to pretend like we don't exist, like we're still gonna exist.
So we're consistently interested in basically how art appears unexpectedly into people's lives, and I think, you know, it's something that's really personally meaningful to me to see art that is able to actually speak to what people are dealing with on a day-to-day life, and that you don't have to enter a gallery or museum to experience that is, I think, really foundational to how we work.